Christmas Eve, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P has no idea what that is. The market closed down 650 points today, bringing us to 21,792, which is just about 5,000 points from the high of 2 months ago. What gives? Well, could be a lot of things. Global debt, trade war with China, certainly that's enough to put us down in half. Is it the immigration issue? People coming up in a caravan, knocking on our door. Middle East, kind of a rogue prince in Saudi Arabia, and of course Iran being rogue all the time. In the middle of that, we pull out of Syria, and the Secretary of Defense resigns. I mean, all of this stuff is very destabilizing. Interest rate war with the Federal Reserve Chairman, and higher interest rate sends fears around that we're gonna induce a recession at the Fed. North Korea is not going to abandon the bomb. In fact, they're trying to build new ICBM bases. You know, what gives? The government's closed, and maybe that's good. But all of these things are truly enough to frighten investors. The biggest fear, however, is a crisis of leadership. Now, we begin looking at the White House and names like Bannon, Cohn, Nikki Haley, Katie Welsh, all leaving, and more recently Sessions, the Attorney General, Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State, and the White House Chief of Staff, General Kelly, and then Defense Secretary Mattis. These all being credible people, but somehow a grand total of 40 of them are unable to stay in the White House, either because Trump wants them fired or they can't stand working for the man. But it's beginning to send a signal of a dysfunctional leadership in White House, and I don't know how to price investments in that kind of a scenario. Loss of confidence in the administration is beginning to happen. Backers of Trump are beginning to fall off the wagon, having second thoughts. And the market has to look through the next 24 months to try to figure out who follows next. Is it Elizabeth Warren? Bernie Sanders? Who is it? And what kind of policies can we expect in 2 years? Do they abandon the tax cuts and go back to tax increases? More tax and spend philosophy, which we think is a killer. And all of this is really scaring the market. We have become very defensive in a maximum sense. We're as defensive as we probably could be ever for all of these reasons. And we want to see it stabilized. We want to see a cooler head. The market's oversold right now because emotions are beginning to come into this, but I'm not sure all the emotions are in. Maybe this idea of a dysfunctional White House is a new one and hasn't percolated through investors' minds. But anyway, at this point, hopefully you can find some rest and surety that we're trying to defend. We're very defensive, a lot of cash, treasury notes and bonds, and equities down at a very low percentage. So this should protect, and we just have to sit back and let events happen. Happy holidays.